up, Borough fans? And we're back to another video on the A.J.T YouTube channel. It's been a while since we spoke about the Borough. I'm here with two fellow Borough fans, my dad and my brother. That being my dad and that being my brother. Both been on the channel many times. And we're here to talk about the Borough for probably the last time until the new season starts, or until the fixture list gets released and whatnot. And my dad, my brother and myself, we're going to all give our opinions on sort of the season just gone, the Tony Pulis era. He was here for 18 months. He didn't manage to get us up, like, obviously that was obviously the objective. But going to be dad first, you know, we started off this season fantastic in the month of August. We went unbeaten inside the cup competitions as well, smashing it. And all of a sudden it went wrong at Norwich as soon as Borough lost 1-0, and we didn't really pick it up from there.
Yeah, I agree with that. We started off flying, we flew out the traps, and I thought it was a false start for me, because looking on the season now as a whole, it was untrue to the season we were going to have, wasn't it? You know, we looked like we were going to win everything, and if I'd have had £1 million, I'd have put it on Borough at that moment in time and lost everything. So it just shows you. But yeah, I don't know what went wrong, to be honest, AJ. I just think it was the fans got a little bit carried away, maybe. The players did it get down to the players, and the players thought we've done it now. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know how these things materialise. You've got a great squad, flying, winning games, and then they stop. Did they stop playing for the manager? Did Pulis say something to someone and it upset him? Or was it the Chelsea thing where you've got somebody slagged off, well, Mourinho himself slagged off the young lass, physio? I don't know what happened. I just know we stopped playing and we looked absolutely rubbish.
He kept saying that the team wasn't good enough, and when you go for a month unbeaten in August, and then he's coming out at the end of the obviously, you know, end of the transfer window saying the team wasn't good enough, that could have affected the team as well. Yeah,
I agree with that. I remember that interview, and it was a little bit unbelievable because we were winning, and he's saying the team isn't good enough, and I think it was to get Steve Gibson to spend money. I don't know, guessing that's what it was, to try and say, come on, give us a few million so I can buy somebody else. They weren't his players. You know, he didn't bring them in, did he? So it's obvious he didn't want to work with some of them, especially Martin Braithwaite, and he'd upset him, because Braithwaite was fine before Pulis arrived, but all of a sudden now Braithwaite doesn't want to play for the club. Pulis slags him off and says, you're a millionaire, this club's made you a millionaire. Braithwaite already was a millionaire. You know, he doesn't need Middlesbrough Football Club, but what he does need is a manager who'll support him and say, come on, get your boots on, an Alex Ferguson type. And obviously Pulis isn't, we can't compare the two, but yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and obviously Billy, same question to you. You know, month of August we're flying, and what for you went wrong, do you think?
You can blame it on a lot of things. You can blame it again on the players, the manager, maybe the chairman, the backroom staff. I feel like there's a lot of stuff goes on in the club that no one's ever going to find out. You know, the same thing with the Karanka when he walks out and you get beat. You don't ever going to know. You're never ever going to find out, you know, unless you've got some sort of source. So we can just go with what we guess. And for me, I think it was personally the recruitment team of messes over this season. You know, haven't brought in the players. Villa ended up getting all of our targets. You know, now their playoffs at Wembley could have been us if we would have put them targets away. You know, would have put our chances away as well. But you know, for me, where it went wrong was Norwich. We kicked their season going. I think they hadn't won a game till they played us, and they've pushed on and won the league. For me, I have to put it down as Pulis. For me, I think for me it's Pulis' fault. Maybe a couple of the games, the players. But
would you just say 6 games in a row cost us for not getting the playoffs?
That cost us from a lot of things. That could have cost us winning the title if we were in that situation. You know, you never want to lose 6 games, and for a team that's going to be pushing for promotion, that's relegation form, losing 6 games, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously, we did get relegated, which is it's a really good positive, but we didn't make playoffs. And for me, I'm happy to see the back of Tony Pulis.
Fair play. And obviously, the thing that came out this week, which obviously leaked a little bit, was the reason why they're not going to renew, obviously, the contract to Tony Pulis is because he failed his objective of getting us promoted, which I think is only fair. Would you have extended his contract, though, based on that, and give him another season to try and get us up?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think we should have fired him at Christmas, to be honest with you. He said all the wrong things and did all the wrong things. I know they say, you know, he can only put out on the field what he's got, but yet you've got people who've left. People don't want to play. Why is that? Is it because they're rubbish? Is it because they're not good enough? It's because of something that the manager's done. Yeah, it's something the manager said to them. or somebody in the club has said something to them and they don't want to play anymore. Yeah. So we all know what that's like. If you go to work tomorrow and your boss says you're useless, well, is he going to get the best out of you? No, you're going to go, all right, I thought I'd done a really good job today, boss, but fair enough. But if he said to you, no, look, you're doing absolutely brilliantly, but can you do any more? You know, there's ways to speak to people, and I just don't think Pulis has got it. He's done it in the past, and he's proven his ability, but he just didn't do it at Middlesbrough. A lot of managers come here and don't do it, and it's a shame to see, but it is repeating itself of late. I think now we've just got to put this behind us and move on, and yeah, we get rid of Pulis and we move on and get somebody good in.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you know, the big thing for me this season was from a massive letdown. The 6 games in a row. We lost 6 games in a row. We went to Aston Villa first of all, lost 3-0, 1 up front. He then persisted to play it again at Swansea when we got beat 3-1. I just think it's lack of judgment in some of the formations he had, the tactics. I mean, in 6 of them games that we did lose as well, let's not forget we were Borough winning 2 of them. Half an hour ago, it takes on press on Bologna, brings on George Friend, we lose the game 2-1. I'm not saying that result cost us, but in a way it did, because 3 more points would have got us in that top 6, wouldn't it?
It would have. 2 more points, turn a draw into a win.
Yeah.
You've got playoffs. You can't blame every single result that we got beaten this season on him. You can't say that's his fault. A lot of fans will say every single defeat's his fault. Yeah. And then some will say not his fault. I know people that are still backing him, still want him as manager, and I know people that have wanted him since he arrived. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. Borough fans are very, very hard fans to please. You know, some of them are very, very hypocritical, and some of them are very strict. And as soon as we lose a game, you see people saying Pulis out and this. For me, that one game against Brentford cost us. You could say the same against Norwich at home, where you should have won.
Rotherham
at home, 3-0. Derby at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of games have cost us this season, but that's what you've got to work on. You've got to work on games not costing you, because Norwich, there's not a single game that cost them this season. Yeah. Sheffield United, not a game cost them this season. Aston Villa, same. Yeah. West Brom, same. Obviously, West Brom last night, they missed out. Very unlucky, but that could have been us. That should have been us. Yeah. Like, we should be at Wembley. We should be playing tonight against Leeds. We should be, but it is exactly what it is. It's a very, very frustrating season.
So a brief talk. Pulis, well, I think many Borough fans thought he was going to stay for the new season. Comes out he isn't staying. You know what I mean? As we've already discussed. I mean, you know, well, it is what it is.
Yes.
There's a lot of talk. The new manager's coming in. Chris Hughton's just been sacked from Brighton, which is absolutely bizarre. But there's also talk of Neil Warnock, but now it looks like he's going to stay at Cardiff. The big one coming out, and the new one, is Phil Neville. Now, coaches the women's football team, England. He's very, very successful with them, but he's got no experience inside the Championship. He's never ever managed that sort of level. If he's the manager to come in, should we just stuck with Pulis?
Can I just say, before we talk about Phil Neville, what we need at Middlesbrough is what we've seen in many other clubs. You know, you get a manager who you know can do it and stay with the club for a period of time, to get to know the players that he's got, to get to know his backroom staff, to get to know the fans, which is very important, and also to try and bring in your own team that you can work with. That's the obvious thing. It's what every football fan wants, but that's what Middlesbrough Football Club needs. We haven't had that for years, man. We haven't. Steve McLaren, he's the one who's got his silverware, and he went to England that year, you know. So you've got to think, we've got to have a manager which is going to stay with us and get us what we want, where we want to be. Now, is that man Philip Neville? I don't think so. He's young, he's new. He's not the type of manager I want to see at Middlesbrough. Not now. The boat's rocking. We need someone to stabilise the ship. We need an old head to come in, not a Pulis. Someone who has done it, proven it, and is now able to buy some decent signings that he can go into the transfer market and see these bargains that he might have managed in the past, and he knows he can get a lot out of them because he knows the buttons to press. That's the kind of manager we want. That isn't Philip Neville. Phil Neville coaches ladies. We all love ladies, you know, and we all love ladies football. It's great. I love watching it. But the man's game is a different game altogether. A man's mentality is different to a lady's mentality. Actually, men are softer than women. You know, if you respond with a woman, they'll do it for you because they want to please you. With a man, you've got to be more, come on, mate, how we get, we'll have a beer later. It's a softer approach, in my opinion, how I've dealt with people in the past. Yeah. We need someone like that, someone who's going to give the players respect, and they're going to respect him back. You know, I could name names, but I don't want to do that. But Chris Hughton, you know, he has proven it. He's got a team into the Premier League, and he's kept them there for a season.
Yeah. So
He's gone down. That ain't his fault. That's money. We all know that. You know, you need to spend millions to stay in that league. If you don't do that, you're going to lose the league. You're going to fall out of it. Yeah. So we need Chris Hughton. I'd be delighted with. To be honest, honestly, I would be delighted if he said, "Let's bring in Chris Hughton." If he said, "Let's bring in Philip Neville," I'd be gutted.
Yeah.
And that's my honest opinion. Anybody else like Chris Hughton, I'm happy with. Anybody else like Philip Neville, I'm not happy with.
Yeah, fair play.
As a fan.
Yeah, I'm saying to you, Billy, Phil Neville potentially coming in. Would you be happy, or would you like to see someone else?
I wouldn't want to see him particularly, but in my opinion, like Dad said, he said he wants an older manager, an older head. For me, I don't want an older manager. We tried older managers. I want someone like Southgate. You know, when we had Southgate before, he was a young head, and he knows what to do.
Got second in the league,
and then sacked him.
Yeah.
What we need is a young player, a young manager like Eddie Howe. You know what I mean? He's been at Bournemouth. You see how long he's been at Bournemouth for. You need someone, like he said, to be there for ages.
He's an old head.
He's not. He's only in his 30s.
Yeah, but he's got an old head.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
Knowledge-wise.
Knowledge-wise, yes, but I don't want an older fella.
I'm talking. When I said an old head, I don't mean an old man.
Oh, right.
An old head, someone who thinks the old way. You know how to get things out of play. Sorry, go back to Billy. Yeah. I'm just saying.
That's fair.
I haven't misunderstood.
Yeah, I did understand. I did. Yeah, I do.
Don't want an old man. Want an old head.
Yeah. I totally agree. Me. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Yeah. I want a Eddie Howe, like, you know, someone who's going to be able to connect with your players, connect with your fans. You know, all I want is someone who's going to come out in the press and explain what goes on.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna stand. He's gonna hold his hands up when he makes a mistake. And he's gonna point the finger where the finger needs to be pointed. And we haven't had that manager in a couple of years. You know, we get managers walking out, match fixing, managers slagging the team off. Yeah. And that's not what we need. We need a good manager who's gonna know what he's gonna do. He's gonna take us back, and we're gonna keep him for many years, and we're all gonna be happy to see him.
Fair play. Well, like I say, lads, cheers for joining me. My personal opinion, I wouldn't want Phil Neville. As for experience and whatnot, I would take Chris Hughton. And that's about all I would take at the minute. Or I'd take myself for the Borough's job. But that's a different story. Guys, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe. And see you in the...
AJ, your barbecue. It's nearly ready.
Nearly ready. So see you soon. Peace out.